Hello, viewers. How are you doing today? You're welcome to my liberation gospel for today. Muhammadu Buhari and the rat race, significance and consequences. You're welcome to today. It's going to be short. I just want to talk briefly on two things, and that is the embarrassment the Buhari administration and presidency just got themselves. It's like you know about the book 1 Week, 1 Trouble. Each time they get into one blunder or the other, and it's a normal thing to them, but it's quite embarrassing in the sense that you can imagine a whole Nigeria. I remember vividly well one question a friend asked me on a certain time. I was on transit in Amsterdam. He asked me, "Is it the best? Why does Nigeria always bring out? People that doesn't really meet up with the quality of Nigerians abroad and even at home, because Nigeria has many people, like I do say, Nigeria do have important personalities around the world, educated people, artisans, talented people, inventors, and special people that were created specially, and they are doing things wonderfully well across the world in many countries, from the United States of America to the United Kingdom, Ireland, Canada, India, many places. Even a lot of them are doing things that no one has heard of. And that's why we are agitating for a place of our own, whereby our people can be heard, their God-given talents can be brought to fruition. It can help to shape humanity and restore the dignity of man. Having said that, I want to get to the point I'm talking about today in my liberation gospel. If it is my people, the Igbos, they will say, Kaiko, Nubi Beranaya, Buhari and the rat race. When I say Buhari and the rat race, I have two things in mind. Many of you, it's going viral all over the internet on the statement by Buhari media advisor Shehu Garba that rats chased the president of Nigeria out of his office. But many of us are laughing. The problem with Nigeria, I don't remembering what Fela sang in his song. That I don't know what Nigerians are easily afraid. We're afraid of everything. We are just mumu. Charlie Boy had to raise that stake, raise that concept of mumu. You know, this is the presidency of Nigeria. You know, this is why we want to get ourselves out of that country, because we don't have the best. The best doesn't emerge. You can imagine the presidency of United States of America issuing a statement that reptiles had to chase the U.S. president from the his Oval Office. And when we keep talking about the ability, the capability of the people at the helm of affairs, something we are just mischief makers, or we just want to cause problem, or we just want to talk for talking's sake. No, a lot of things are happening in the country, but we are getting used to that. And many of us have gotten used to that. We don't want to complain. We just want the status quo to continue. We don't want to be associated with these people No, just let it be now. A lot of I know what many of my close friends, aid followers, and have been telling me why. But unfortunately, they seem not to understand me again. If you have followed me from when I went to the university, not when I was in the seminary, you will begin to understand my kind of mission on earth. I mean, how can rats? How can it was even on the BBC and many media outfits on online that rats made Buhari not to resume work. That's they wanted to give an excuse, but you know, this administration is all about lies, but they don't know how to lie. They're not professional about it because they're not prepared. You know, when you are not prepared for something, our people say that when you are asked to dig the grave of a corpse you weren't in when it was entered, you will start from the leg side of it. These people are not prepared, and that is the situation with the country. This is a country whereby people get into government and they start campaigning for the next election. They haven't even finished their 4-year term. They will start campaigning for the next election. And you see sycophants here and there, genuflecting, bowing in order to get money. You know, you have to chip in yourself, no matter your status, no matter your hard work in life, no matter your qualification, no matter your education, no matter your experience with life. If you're a girl, you have to slip your way to getting a job. If you are a young man, you have to worship, you have to sing praises. You know, this is what happens in Nigeria. And you can imagine the presidency of a country issuing a statement that rats chased their president out of office. And the problem is that they're not even embarrassed by it. It's not an embarrassing statement. This is just like Buhari staying over 100 days in London, saying he is sick, that he's curing himself, and he's not even embarrassed by that. Because this is an embarrassment. It automatically gives bad image to your health policy and your health sector. It's automatically says that Nigerian doctors are nothing, that they are rubbish. It automatically brings down anything related to health in that country. But unfortunately, nobody's talking. Even the Nigerian Medical Association, I don't know if they've made a statement about that. Because these things should warrant us to talk. It should warrant us to make the state ungovernable. Because the time has gone. I keep saying we are not Hausas. We are not Hausas that have been subjugated in the core north. Hausas and other minorities that have been subjugated by the Fulanis. No. There are a lot of us that's, in fact, I often quote Ecclesiastes 7:7 that says, "Oppression maketh a wise man mad." Because a lot of things that happen in the country is uncalled for. It's annoying. On a very good day in many countries, by now there will be conflict. Because when you are not happy about the situation and you demand that we sit down to talk about it, and some people are proving that they are born to rule, then they are calling for trouble. Unfortunately, they are bragging as having the monopoly of violence because they are in control of power, because they've peopled the armed forces, because they've made sure that other sections of the country are not in the armed forces. So you see, any little thing they start talking about war. We're not talking about war, but in the eventuality of that, I want to ask the rest of Nigerians: should we continue to take this that rats removed the president of Nigeria. All the billions of naira that have been allocated to that presidency, what do they do with that? That rats, which kind of fly is this? And Nigerians are taking that. So that is one. It's embarrassing, and this is why we keep saying that, look, we are not in the right place. As long as we cannot sit down and fashion out a way to run this federation or Federal Republic of Nigeria, then we have to think of getting ourselves out of this block, because we don't have the right people at the helm of affairs. There's no need hiding about that. Buhari is not capable. His people are not capable, because they've, from time immemorial, they've shown that they cannot industrialize the country, that they don't have the robust policies to distribute wealth, and they have a culture of running fiefdom. They have a culture of subjugating people. You can see that if you've lived in the north, you will see that their culture is very different from our way of life, because you see that the average Hausa is a beggar. The average Hausa man is a beggar. The Almajiris you are seeing on the streets, they are Hausas. You cannot see a Fulani begging. The poorest Fulani is in the thick forest rearing cattle, and those people still have money. They have, you see the way they flaunt AK-47 and ammunition without getting arrested. They've been raping women in farms, destroying crops, and doing a lot of things. These are the cattle Fulanis, and nothing happens to them. Nothing happens to them, because their brothers, who are the aristocratic Fulani, will always protect them. You know, because I have always said they are the problem we have in Nigeria. Why I keep calling them? Because they are the problem we have in Nigeria. Because they believe that they have conquered the Hausas, and they have to extend it to the rest of the country. But unfortunately, you see how their mentality is. Rats had to chase Buhari out of office. It shows the kind of people we are dealing with. It shows their mentality, and they don't even care. They want people to follow them just hook, line, and sinker, without asking questions, without raising eyebrow, without moving for fundamental changes. Look at the constitution. Everything about Nigeria is false. Everything about Nigeria is false. Population, Nigeria says 180 population, is false. We don't know actually the number of Nigerians we do have. They don't even care about citizenship, dignity of man. They don't have it. Value for life. They don't have it. Industry, trade, and things like that. Things that, the basic things that make give life to humanity, they don't care about it. They just want servitude. They have to be the boss, you be the servant. But unfortunately, Nigeria is a mixture of people, and we cannot take that. This is why we have to renew our agitation to get our people from the country, because as long as we are in Nigeria, we cannot make progress. There's no need denying that. As long as we are in Nigeria, we can never make progress. Then the second thing I want to talk about is, I said Buhari and the rat race, significance and consequences. We have this issue of our people employing Hausas as gate men. But unfortunately, we call it Hausa Fulani. I've always maintained that. As a historian and somebody who is an authority in Nigerian history and affairs, I've delved into research. I've traveled length and breadth of Nigeria. So Hausas and Fulanis are different. I want you to understand that. We must begin to understand this, because when we understand this, then we will begin to understand the problems prevalent in Nigeria. The Hausa is different from the Fulani. Buhari is a typical Fulani. You see, the Fulanis are very, very mean. They're very wicked. They want to be in charge, whether you like it or not. That is their mentality. And they believe they are, they believe they own Islam in Africa. So their interest is just to Islamize everyone that comes along their way. But unfortunately, in Nigeria, we talk about Hausa Fulani. Hausa Fulani, they are not a tribe. It is not a tribe in Nigeria. Hausa Fulani, there are two people. But unfortunately, when the Fulani conquered the Hausas, they made sure they subjected them to the minute. People raped their women, make sure that every Hausa family, you must see traces of Fulani blood, and render them useless. So when you see the Almajiri, the typical Almajiri, they are Hausa. But unfortunately, you know, they have brainwashed them with Islam. Brainwashing them with Islam, sending them. That's why, you know, whether they like it or not, they must obey the Fulanis. Because if they don't obey the Fulanis, they cannot exist. That's why if you go to the Connaught, you see emirs. They divided the place in Osman Danfodio and his followers, divided the place in emirates form. An emir puts in Fulanis. Unless you are so loyal from other tribes, then they make you, but you must be very loyal. That's why Sultan of Sokoto is the head of all Muslims. There are Yorubas who say they are Muslims. Ask them, why is the Sultan of Sokoto a perpetual head for all Muslims in Nigeria? Before I deviate, I want my people to be very careful when it comes to employing security, because our people, they feel when if they feel when they arrive, they have a good house, they've erected a good mansion, or they feel they want security, they put in Hausa, and they call it Hausa Fulani, call Northern in. Find out where your gate man is from, because most of these people are informants. They're informants. They're informants too, because they are always loyal. Many of them are afraid. In the last 2 or 3 weeks, many of my friends who are from Connaught, they've been sending me messages, calling me, telling me, because many of them live in fear. Many of them are afraid because they know the monster they've been dealing with. The monster that have dehumanized them, that have made them, have taken their land, had made them economically impotent, socially unfit. They can't even do anything. They don't have any say on their own. I don't want to start talking about my interviews with people. That was 3 months ago. I met an Hausa girl on Alena Video. She ran a kiosk. And I was surprised when she told me she's a Christian. I said, in Kano, I thought that everyone in Kano is a Muslim. She said, no. She told me a lot of things. Fortunately for her, she's married to a man from Ebonyi State. And, you know, since then, I took her number. I've called her once, in a while, you know, we talk, and, you know, she gives me a lot of information on things that happened in her locality, why some of them want to. And these are the people that have held Nigeria, because they've been, since they were born, they've had no say in their town. Imagine you, a Christian, being under an emir, whether you like it or not, you'll be married off, you'll be forced to become a Muslim, whether you like it or not. And unfortunately, where I want to get in, our people keep employing gatesmen from the Connaught. Most homes in our places, they have gatesmen from the Connaught. These gatesmen are spies. They are spies. They are informants. Yes, we know we travel. We travel in the form of going to set up or place some businesses and things like that. But these gatemen, there are many other things. These gatemen, does. You know, I don't want to say this, but this great man has come to know many things that happened in our various homes. Some of them have been impregnating our girls, you know, without, some of them have even been sleeping with their bosses' wives, especially when their bosses doesn't have time for their women. These things have been happening, and this has been a calculated attempt, you know, to do a lot of things to cut our cohesion, to permit to get into our homes, to get information out. I want you to begin to understand, because a lot of us don't think so far. We don't think so deep. Most of our gate men who are from corners are actually spies. So you just have to understand that. Many of them are spies. Many of them are doing a lot of harm to us. You see that all of them have their radio. But we think it's a big boy thing. We think it's that we've finally arrived. We think that, look, when we get an aboki as a gate man, that we are secured and stuff like that. Yes, due to today's Nigeria and the end of the Civil War, a lot of things has come in conflict with the typical Igbo culture. You see, due to the place we have found ourselves in Nigeria, many things has touched on our culture, our cultural ethics, you know, our way of life, our worldview. Things that naturally cannot happen among our people are beginning to happen because of the loss of the Civil War, and because of how Nigeria has put us in, because of poverty, and because of not having access to certain things that will help us socially, economically, politically, and otherwise. So first, the government we keep talking about, they keep embarrassing themselves. I thank God that Buhari became president so that we will see the kind of monster that we've been dealing with. The international community have now seen it. Yes, they may be keeping quiet. They have to keep quiet. Before, do we expect them to come and sort our problems? No. We have to sort our problems. We have to make the demands. We have to make things ungovernable before they come in to mediate. We must. I mean, faith without work will be fruitless. We have to make the demands. So anybody who is waiting for US or Great Britain or Israel to come in and intervene, no. We have to take up the sacrifice before they come in. But we have to take away fear. We have to take away fear. As long as we have fear in us, we can never achieve anything. We must be fearless in getting what we want. Because as long as you put the cloak of fearlessness, the enemy is afraid. Forget about the Judases and the Esau's in our midst. There will always be a Judas in every 12. It's normal. Even among the North, there are people who doesn't like what is happening. Like I said, if chance is given, the typical Hausa and minorities in the North, they will show you what have been in their hearts for a very long time, because they've been looking for a way. They've been waiting for that moment to react. Nigeria is like a cold room, and we are all of us are just boiling inside it. Nigeria has just covered everyone with this devilish cloak, whereby we, despite the fact that things are not working well, we will keep quiet. Despite the fact that we can't even boast of 24 hours electricity, we take it as how God has destined it. Despite the fact that mumus have been in charge, that rats are chasing your president from his office, and it's worthy for them to make a statement that the international media will even take, that even the citizenry will hear. It shows the level of reasoning of the people in charge. Somebody asked me one time in Amsterdam, I mean, is it the best Nigeria can offer? And when a president of Nigeria talks, sometimes the world look at us. Does it really mean these are the best we can offer? Because the best never emerged from Nigeria. And why? Because we've kept quiet. We keep keeping quiet. And when somebody talks, few people will have issues with that. Why are you talking? Why are you saying this? Why shouldn't you keep quiet? And worse things are happening. You can imagine rats chasing, making the president not to function. From one lie to another. Government is all about lies. Nigerians they're now used to not depending on the government. You just feel eating the billions. You just be reading it in the newspapers and hearing it in the news. So billion has been dispersed for this. So trillion has been dispersed for this. Millions of dollars has been earmarked for this. So billions of naira have been discovered, and nobody has agreed that he or she owns it. And not only that, EFCC will just wake up and say they have recovered certain trillion of naira. Where is the money? They'll just wake up and tell us cock and bull story, and people, because ordinarily Nigerians never care. The government never care about the people. There's no checks and balances. There's no mechanism to know when the government is doing something or not. Pipe-borne water will be put in a community, and they will be hailing the governor as if the governor is now a demigod. The governor will just go to places and just donate state fund. I'm giving you 100 million as if it is his own money. We no longer have confidence in the government. There's a very big gap between the people and the government. And whereas we have money, there's so much money in the country. Nigeria is so rich. So why should we keep quiet that few people will be deciding what happens to our commonwealth? I mean, we need to start talking. It's very important that we start talking. If we cannot sit down and discuss Nigeria and negotiate Nigeria, then it has to be no dimittis. Nigeria has to separate. We will continue to make sure that we take our people out, because we want to have a government that is responsive, a government that looks at its people, a government that people can decide, look, we no longer want this person in charge. You are not doing anything for us. You don't have recourse to us. So why should you represent us? This is what happens in sane society. In modern society, most of us that have traveled in different countries, we see that when a government loses the confidence in the people, the government falls. But it is not the same in Nigeria. So this is why we cannot be with certain people. It's not I don't have any hatred against some people. No, actually, I have friends among Fulanis, but I have to stand up for. Many of my friends who are Fulanis, they are well positioned in government. If many of you who studied in Nigeria, get any Fulani who is your friend and who graduated from a Nigerian university, who is articulate, then tell us where the person. Compare where you are and where that person is when it comes to having access to government. So this is what we are talking. We cannot be second-class citizens in our country. No. I mean, we practice the real democracy. We practice the real democracy in the sense that we will discuss on issues and come to a conclusion or come to a resolution. We don't have this worldview of somebody lording over us. Nobody is a lord in our worldview. Rather, we will discuss and send a representative. That is where we are different. That is where we are clashing with. So you can see some people masquerading as elites in where I come from. No, on a very good day, they won't have access to where we are because many of them are criminals. Many of them are traitors. Many of them will sell their people for a pittance or porridge. But this struggle has to continue. It is not a personal struggle. And even if we drop dead today and we don't sort this issue, the children are going to come up and continue this struggle because we are down. Anybody who says we are not down, that person is a joker. The person is a fool, and he or she is an idiot. If you can graduate, you don't have any job. If you didn't go to school and you have learned, you are an artisan, you have learned one work or the other, you cannot get yourself the necessary tools to work. If you are a girl, you cannot get a job without slipping your way through. If you cannot have access to soft loans or even grants and loans to do your research, to set up a business, to set up a company or assist yourself, then there's problem. And the cash is there. The money is there. The money, let us not be deceived. The money is there. We have the money. We have the resources. We have industrious people. So the rats chased Buhari, made Buhari. That was a lie. They just wanted to lie, but because they are bereft of ideas, they brought up the issue that rats chased your president out of his office and he cannot function. Then this issue of our people employing Hausa gate men, many of them are informants. Many of them are informants. We must begin to look at that policy. Most of our people, when they finish their building, they get a call northerner to become their gate man. And they think it's their best. But unfortunately, many of them get information. Apart from information, they are doing many things. If they have a chance, they will do worse. They're already doing. Some of them are already doing impregnating or sleeping with your daughters and things like that. It's happening. It's happening. Let us not run away from that. It's happening. And this is one Fulani tactic. In every Hausa family, you see traces of their blood. Because this is why it is very difficult to separate them from the Hausas. Because a woman cannot do away with her child, even if she was raped. Because that's your child. So we have to find a way to protect our people. We have to find a way to protect our culture. We have to find a way to protect what should be there for the new generation. It's important because if we don't do that, then woe betide us. It means that things has fallen apart when it came to us. Some people fought for us. Some people defended us. Yes, God is the ultimate defender, but our fathers tried their best. But the wish and prayers of every father is that his children will be bigger than him. Hence, we must find a way to get our freedom. This is why you have to make sure you start talking to people, because this is an education of the heart. This is a message that should spiral. Gradually, it's coming up because the rest of Nigeria are beginning to wake up to understand what is happening, because a lot of Nigerians are in bondage. They need deliverance. And this is where I've started my new form of deliverance, though I've done a lot of things in the past, writing books and so, but not everybody read books. They said if you want to hide anything from an African person, put it in a book. I remember being arrested in Abuja over my book, Nigeria Whips, and things like that. And with and the Igbo, a political history of the Igbos. Nigeria Whips is a political history of Nigeria. You can find it in libraries. Many of you have access to the book. You've read it and see that. And many of my books and writings. So we must begin to awaken the consciousness of Nigerians. Many Nigerians are in bondage. We have to start educating them on truth, on the truthfulness of things, how things are supposed to be, because there's no need lying. With truth, you can conquer anything. You can break down barriers. You can push down walls. You can even conquer the man with military might. Truth will bring down anything. And that is what Nigeria need, because Nigeria is built, or was built, on falsehood. Nigeria sits on falsehood, and we can't continue. How can we just keep quiet and the status quo will continue? People are saying, why are you doing this? How can we keep quiet? Many of us are abroad. Many are abroad. Ordinarily, they wouldn't want to be abroad. They want to get back home. But there's no level playing ground. You see that almost all the parastatals. It's not even about peppering the parastatals and the ministers and portfolio. No, it's about policies that can trigger industrialization, that can restore the dignity of man in the country, that can empower people. We need that empowerment. We need that industrialization. If they want the country to move, they were talking about federation. Yeah, it would have the issue at the moment would have even resurrected. It wouldn't have come back like a recurring decimal if things were working well. But we have checked and rechecked and seen that things cannot work the way we want it. It cannot work. It can never work. There's no need pretending, because we've looked at it. The only way it's work is by making sure that we have equality of everyone and a level playing ground. But unfortunately, some people wouldn't want it. Some people believe that they conquered their neighbors. They want to extend their conquests towards those that inhabit close to the sea. But it can't happen. So that is true. Your president is no longer working because common rats chased him out of office. That is shameful. That is embarrassing. That is unbecoming. That is why we don't want to be part of them, because they don't want to sit down. They don't want robust ideas. They don't want things to move, because if things move, they will fall down on the pecking order. And some of you who love employing people from the corner as your gatemen, I want you to shine your eyes, to open your eyes. Many of them are informants. Many of them are informants. And apart from that, they are doing the other job. The other job that is done in the other room, they are doing it. And that is anti, it is unethical. It is not what we would want. Some of you who may doubt me or who know what I'm talking about, you can go for it. I know DNA test is not prevalent in Nigeria. It's still for the elite. You see, that is what we are talking about. Is your president was sick? He had to fly to London and spent like more than 100 days. He's not even ashamed and he came back making broadcasts. He's coming from London because these people are shameless. But that is what you want. It is up to you to wake up, wake your consciousness up, wake your spirit up, and say enough is enough. I thank you for listening to me today. My liberation gospel will continue. You can find a way to reach me, send a message to me, or follow some of my writings on ulumuoka.com, or I edit Africa World newspaper in Dublin at the moment. Thank you, and God bless you.